Hi everyone, this is Norman Kochnick here from Eyes on Cricket. I'm located in Adelaide, as in the south of Australia, as in the state of South Australia. Adelaide Oval, right behind me you can see, we're just to reach what I would have called lunchtime, but it's more like a late tea time. It's hard to know exactly what you would call it. The game started at 2:30 local time. I went through to 4:30 local time, which is effectively the lunch break, albeit many hours later. Of course, we have a day-night match here, and we have a fair degree of darkness that will occur, and obviously they'll have the need for light at some stage, so we'll have to get that all sorted out. So we'll make sure we've got a bit of light there in that meter. Yeah, so I'm going to find it hard to read some of your messages, guys, but we'll try and get there. And I'll move back a bit more. That's better. So what is green even doing in the side? Now they're claiming Cameron Green's at the next all-rounding sensation, not like a Ben Stokes, so a bit early to say that. So I'm sure I can see you all. It's nice to see you there. Okay, thank you. So yeah, this is a very hot day. It's 35 degrees. Can you all hear me clearly, guys? Just want to make sure that you all hear me clearly, because it is a bit on the overcast side here, but hot, extremely hot. There's a bit of renovation going on behind me. There's a tennis centre. They got brand new nets. They've got incredible stands in there, of course. The chapel stand. There's a riverbank stand, which is where I was just a short while ago, which is where the media is, where the members are, the SACA members, the South Australian Cricket Association members, SACA. But amongst that, they've also got AFL matches. So Australia have done particularly well. Of course, there were 2 for 221 overnight, with Labuschagne on 95 at that stage, with batting with Steve Smith. Labuschagne had what I would call quite a deal of luck today. He was out off a no ball. He was almost out in another delivery, and then finally, eventually got given out, having made his century. I think it was 103. Steve Smith looks good at the moment. He's in, but we've lost Travis Head and we've lost Cameron Green as well. So that puts Australia at some 5 down at the moment. So we've lost, obviously, Warner as well last night on 95. Harris very early on yesterday. Labuschagne's gone today. We have then Head and Green also going, so that's 5 down at this stage. I'm just going to check the score as we speak. So bear with me a second, guys. I might lose your screen. A bit hard to have double screens here at the moment. Let's have a look. I might go black for a moment. Australia 5 for 303. I think the latest score is 5 for 303 with, of course, Steve Smith on a magnificent 55 and Alex Carey there on 5. So Australia 5 for 302, and that should just about be time for lunch, I would have thought. 5 for 302, so that's what I'm seeing. So I'm back now, guys. You momentarily would have lost me there, but I'm back. And we'll look at the... Can you get me, guys? It's just a bit of a blur at the moment. Yeah, here we go, I'm back. And we'll put a banner on there. Australia are some 5 for 302. I'll put that up now, guys. So 5 for 302. A lot to talk about. Of course, I wasn't around for the first day, guys. I was heavily involved with some other issues, but I certainly was here. It's Australia. Can't even see that. South Australia. So I can see what my screen's doing, guys. It's a bit on the hard side. So Australia 5 for 302. That's actually what's trying to make up Hang on, guys. I'll just have to do a bit of fine tuning here. Very hot at the moment, that's for sure. So Australia won the toss. I'm so very happy about and that with Australia. This goes Australian 5 for 302 was the last time I saw. There we have it. Why is it not doing it? Okay. What coming up is it, guys? Anyway. The phone is extremely hot, so I'm going to be careful with it. It's going to be playing up, I think, today. But yeah, that's the score at the moment, 5 for 302. But I think importantly, we've had a situation where Australia have certainly taken full advantage of this toss that they've won, and they're going to. Robert Muller's here. Who's the lady sitting next to near you in the box? I have nobody sitting next to me at all. Well, I'm not in a box. I'm actually outside the ground at the moment, taking a view of the back of the riverbank stand, and the River Torrens is on my left, your right. Adelaide's extremely hot. I can see the Stanford Hotel, the Intercontinental there in the background. Quite an amazing place. So Australia, what do you think? Pat Cummins goes to the Little Hunter restaurant and finds himself, unfortunately, brushing with COVID-19. The COVID-19 scare. South Australia is a bit crazy with their restrictions here. When I arrived here yesterday, I was able to leave the airport virtually, but then I saw a long line, like a long snake line, and I assumed I had to go there, and I did. And I had to wait an hour and a half to get tested, and I was tested there, and in turn I was tested, and I couldn't quite understand what was going on, but I was tested. But I left again. I came to the ground. I wasn't asked for that identification. Or I think I have the paper here somewhere in the bag. If I'm not wrong. It's like a little bit of paper. Yeah, we've got some magnificent things here that I'm going to show you more of as we go along. But I'm going to try and find that little bit of paper. It's probably hidden here somewhere. No, anyway. So that's the magazine that they're issuing out here. It's called the Men's Ashes. The Vodafone, which is the telephone company that is sponsoring the Ashes, Vodafone Men's Ashes, official souvenir program for 21-22. You can see Mitchell Starc there on the front. Sports' oldest rivalry begins a new chapter. There's the heading. Yeah, I've had COVID-19 test going over here, so don't worry about me coughing. And in the magazine, we've got some articles. They're looking at what's ahead, and they're talking about the Men's Ashes, of course, players in focus. They look specifically at Marnus Labuschagne, who's obviously scored a century here today. He's becoming a household name. Joe Root leading by example. Well, he did in the last innings, in the last match, but it wasn't up to him to win. Michael Nessa, bull by the horns. Well, he's actually in the team now because of the unavailability of Pat Cummins. James Anderson, defying the years, as he's 39 years of age. And Will Bukowski, willpower. He's going to need a lot of willpower because he keeps getting injured with those head knocks. We're going back to Pat Cummins run. So the restaurant is only a matter of maybe half a kilometre that way, not even that, probably a quarter of a kilometre away. The Little Hunter. It's a steak restaurant, very nice. I put a video together, you'll see it on social media, and that video shows you the location. So Pat Cummins was there with his brother and also a guy who plays for New South Wales, is playing for Adelaide at the moment. Harry, oh my God, I've forgotten Harry's last name, it'll come to me. And Harry was there with him. Harry Conway, who plays for New South Wales and also plays here for Adelaide. he was with him and Pat Cummins and also his brother. They were sitting in the restaurant, and a man who undisclosed by name, he shook Pat Cummins' hand at some stage, sat down near him, and then realised while he was there that he was COVID positive. He got a message saying he's COVID positive. The restaurant then didn't charge him, and he left the restaurant. But unfortunately, Pat was in close contact with him. And luckily, just outside the back of the restaurant there at Little Hunter, which is on Victoria Street here in Adelaide, which you should visit, guys, great steak. Then at that point, we had Nathan Lyon and Mitchell Stark out there. So Pat Cummins, unfortunately, was the one to be exposed to it. Nathan Lyon and Mitchell Stark were luckily inside. Harry Conway and Pat Cummins' brother was also exposed. So they were exposed. They had to make a local South Australian government decision. I think we heard Warner talk about it yesterday, was to quarantine Pat Cummins for 7 days, which meant he could not play the second test here. So automatically swung into action. We had, of course, Steve Smith became the incumbent captain. Well, having been captain before, not sure whether to call him that. So Pat Cummins was out, Steve Smith was in. And that elevated Travis Head, who has been vice captain before, has been elevated to vice captain, only been made his return last match. So Steve Smith captain and Travis Head is vice captain. And Australia won the toss, elected to bat. 90s from both, 90 from David Warner and 100 from Labuschagne, and now a very solid 50 from Stephen Smith. It looks very good, but we can have Alex Carey in the bat. So again, we've lost Harris, Warner, Labuschagne, both Head and Green as well. So Smith is in there with Carey, Alex Carey. 5 for 302 was the last score I saw, and I'm not sure the word. So the Women's Ashes is also in the booklet. An idea about the cricket community. We talk about the Woolworths Community Fund, various cricket clubs, daughters and dads. Quite a few interesting women's social match, smash. So the extras is all different things. It's quite a good book, this guys. See great photos there as well. Ace of clubs, they're calling. And they've got various other, for the love of cricket, a bit of an advert there for Foxtel. It goes on. Define the years. An article about Define the years. It is a cliche in sport, but never has it been more true than in the case of James Anderson. He really is getting better with age. By Richard Asher, I know Richard. He's a good writer. So 4 years ago, when England last visited our shores for the Ashes, we wrote in these very pages that it was more than likely that Australian swan song for Jimmy Anderson. Well, it's not. He's back. And then you've got Michael Nesser, who's calling him the bull by the horns. Now, Michael Nesser's reputation as the best Australian bowler to have never played a test only grew when he led the Queensland Bulls to Sheffield Shield victory or glory early this year. Now he has his eye on the Ashes. So we'll see how he goes today, or maybe on tomorrow, if he's as good as they're saying he is. A lot about the Yorkshire grit and a leading by example that we've got there in terms of, you can say leading by example. Can you see that? Leading by example. Joe Root enters the Australian summer as the world's #1 ranked test batter and the key to England's Ashes campaign. Can he lead his country to a series win over Australia for the first time in his tenure as captain? Well, I actually thought they were going to win 3-2. I still maintain that. Would the magazine be available in other countries? I don't know, but we should try and find out that. I'll try and find out for you guys. And we might even arrange I might get 20 copies and give them out to some of the members. If you become a member, you get a magazine. How about that? Beauty of Nature. Maxwell, 100 good. Yeah, Maxwell Central is good. He should be in this national side. We all think that. So there you go, guys. You can have a bit of a look around. You can look around. There's the River Torrents there. We can see the Adelaide Oval there in the background. You can see more of the ground there as we work our way around. You can see some of the lights. Can't go inside with the camera, of course, because I'm not Channel 7 or Foxtel or BT, which is the main group. I think England team has not cracked the code yet. Well, amazing crowd. Yeah, we had 32,000 yesterday. I don't know what the crowd is today, but it would be probably right up there with the same number. Yeah. And I have a look at the scoreboard there. If we can see anything on the scoreboard. We've got on the scoreboard there, which is like a kind of outdoor scoreboard. It says the 16th of October to the 13th of November this year, or sorry, next year, we have the ICC Men's T20 World Cup in Australia 2022, and it's in fact, again, 16th of October to 13th or whatever it was in November. So that's pretty good. It's not far away, guys, not far away. I will be here again in Adelaide, as well as Sydney. I'm going to be in Melbourne and Hobart for the test, hopefully, so we'll do well. So there we have a little bit of an update for you guys. Any more questions? Please tell me your ticket price. For what? For my ticket? Well, I'm a member, so I'm not really in that same boat. And there's media as well, but the ticketing price is around $65. I think they were. It was last time I saw them. That's for a really good seat, mind you. Robert Muller's a new member. Well, I'll get you copies of this magazine. Okay, throughout the summer, I'll buy a stock of them and I'll have them ready to send out to guys. So just let me know who. Cricket Talk with Australia will get 400 plus of Smith fans. A ton loading. Yeah, well, they probably deserve that. 300 now. They should be in a what update for Smith score? Okay, we'll have a look what Smith's score is. I don't. Guys, have you got the latest score, the cricket score? No. We've got a bit of a problem with it. You got your mobile? You got a mobile with a score? Just having to ask because I'm not accessing score. Yeah, and Smith's on 55, isn't he? 5 for 302. So as that hasn't changed, that's the lunch score. That's at lunch. So the score at lunch is 5 for 302. It hasn't changed. Smith's on 55, and I think Alex Carey's just scored. So at lunch, which is kind of the last, 55. That's right, correct, Robert Muller. So 55 not out, and 5 for 302. The scoreboard's not showing. You can see the scoreboard's behind me there, but they're not showing. So there's an Adelaide Oval there. You can see the rooftop there. You can see around the famous ground. I'd love to give you a tour inside, but I'm not allowed to. But yeah, so 5 for 302 is the score, with Smith on 55 and Alex Carey at 5 as well. Century by Labuschagne, but he was out several times. Out off a no ball. It seems to be the theme of the season. People getting out off no balls. It's becoming quite, over the top in terms of that, isn't it? So I'll try and give you more regular updates now because I'm here. I may also bring them from indoors because it's extremely hot. It's 35 degrees Celsius here. It's whoppingly hot, whoppingly hot. So it's not the temperature that you want to experience too. You can see there's a fair few people running around outside. So today the night session will kill the game. Why are you saying that, Himanshu? Why are you saying it's going to kill the game? I mean, the day-night sessions are a good idea. I mean, it's very common around the world now. We're going to have the day-night session, also day-night games, pink ball games, that is. We're going to be having that also in Hobart coming up in January. Melbourne and Sydney will be day games, but the other game, the Hobart game, which is replacing, of course, Perth, will be a day-night game. So, yeah, we won't have a long session today, guys. We'll talk a bit further. I might come back a bit later. But they're talking about the different grounds as well. Melbourne cricket ground, beautiful ground that it is. They talk about the Adelaide. Well, this is what I'm saying tonight. This is what I'm saying tonight. You can see that incredible beauty of that place and the magnificence of that ground there. It's quite incredible. Beautiful ground. I'll just read about Adelaide Oval a little bit if you want. Adelaide Oval, often considered amongst the most beautiful grounds in the world cricket, thanks to its location in the Adelaide Parklands and its stunning backdrop of St Peter's Cathedral, which is back behind the scoreboard. The Adelaide Oval is a true oval, making sixes square of the wicket more common than those straight down the ground. In 2015, Adelaide Oval hosted the first ever day-night match when Australia defeated New Zealand by 3 wickets. I was there. This summer, Vodafone Ashes test will be the six-day night test hosted at the ground. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Maybe there was a year missing there, maybe it was last year. more than any other ground in world cricket. So it's had the most. So there's behind the scenes tours. You can go on the roof of the Adelaide Oval. It's quite incredible. It's you can sit on a certain ledge and watch the game almost down the bowler's arm after you've been on the tour of the roof. There's also a separate scoreboard trip as well, which I should do. I should actually do. To promote it. Absolutely. And there's something called a smash hit, which is involving women's cricket. Women's cricket is certainly being promoted very heavily. Very, very heavily indeed. And there's lots of talk about inclusion, about those with disabilities as well, the Aboriginal component, transforming girls' cricket. It certainly is a transformation of girls' cricket. There's no doubt about that at all. And so people come up here for a bit of a chat. So they are playing BBL in Perth, but no test. Well, Himanshu Chaudhary, they must have played those matches prior to this new situation when they could go in there, have their lockdown, have their quarantine, and then play and then get out. But now we can't do that. Well, we thought better because we could probably get the players in there, but we can't get the supporters. And the Army and a whole host of others all can't get in there. So it's quite disturbing indeed. This magazine is full of good stuff about all sorts of levels of cricket, especially women's cricket. You talk about the Ashes there, the women's Ashes is being shown there as well. You can see the women's Ashes there, and you can see it all discussed there. Good magazine again. I'll get plenty of copies of that, guys, so we'll get you to be a part of it. Australians should playing fast after lunch. Well, yes and no. I mean, why Australia batting defensively? Well, I don't know. If I'm being really honest with you, I think that Stuart Broad and certainly Anderson and Ollie Robinson and even Ben Stokes, along with, to a lesser extent, Wokes, have been bowling really well. Joe Root just castled Travis Head with a good delivery, and Ben Stokes got good old Cameron Green bowl, so it's some good bowling going on. The wicket generally has been bouncing sufficiently to go over the stumps, and that's where Warner and Labuschagne batted a bit out of their crease so they would negate that bounce, and they knew when they hit the ball on the pads it was going on the way up and they wouldn't be out, and that's what that proved to be true. Hi, do you want to be on? I've got a YouTube channel which goes internationally. Would you like to have a bit of a chat? Do you mind?
Okay.
Come grab a seat. What's your name?
Don.
Don, is it?
Yeah.
Not Don Bradman, mate.
Well, I do.
Come around.
I do answer to the Don.
come around. You need to be in a camera shot. So I've got a YouTube channel called Eyes on Cricket.
Okay.
So we've just bumped into Donnie. You can take your mask off. I'm not going to bite you. So I'll get you to. So my name is Norman Kochling, by the way, Don.
Norm.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So this is Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochling. I'm going live at the moment. I've got supporting about 20,000 subscribers, so it's pretty good. We talk about cricket. So what's your take on today's play so far, Don?
Well, we're starting to see the game open up a little bit, which is good after yesterday's negative tactics on the part of England. Well, those tactics are still there, but I think they're tiring, and we're starting to see the game open up.
What do you think? Don't you think Australia batted quite well, rather defensively as well?
Well, most balls, and I'll say 95% of the balls, were going over the top of the stumps. I'm guessing with the scoring rates from the Warners of this world and the Smiths of this world and the Labuschagne, that the pitch is probably not that great. It's not coming on. And if it's bowled short, it's bowled over middle and leg with 6-3 leg side fields and 5-4 leg side fields. I'm not surprised we didn't score fast.
That's true. And if I couldn't believe, I feel sorry for Butler. He took a fantastic catch to start the day with Harris, but then dropped a sitter, which thankfully didn't hurt him too much.
No, it didn't. No.
I mean, well, Labuschagne was 95 then, I think, or thereabouts, and he ended up with 103. Yeah, so he only added 8. But he added 8 significant runs in terms of his century, of course.
And he struggled significantly between 95 and 103.
Well, I jokingly predicted to get out for 99 because I thought he wouldn't quite get there, like the way that Warner didn't get there. Yeah. But still, it's funny how we mock a person who gets 99 when, my God, that's still a bloody good innings, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, if I can get 99 in every game, I think I'd be a happy man.
Well, if you got
Puts
90,
me up there with the Don.
well, I was about to say that. Seeing Don has a name like Don, having an average 99 would be perfect because Don's average was 99.94. I actually interviewed Arthur Morris before he passed away, and he told me he was at the other end when Bradman got out, and he got 170 that day, would you believe? And Bradman out for a duck. And he always was a bit regretful. He thought, if I only knew, I would have perhaps not got as many runs. That would have made us bat again, which would have allowed Don to get more runs. But that's the way the cookies crumble, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thanks, Don. Really, you're an Adelaidean, are you?
I am, yes.
Yeah. Whereabouts exactly?
Clarence Park.
Clarence Park?
Yep.
All right, so Adelaide's a great state. I was just talking about it now. Despite the fact that Pat Cummins went to your little Hunter restaurant yesterday, and well, it was the day before, whenever it was, and I went there this morning to have a bit of a bo peep and a bit of a dungeon-looking place, but I'm sure good food.
I haven't been there.
Well, now, I've been recommended to go there to eat steak, but I won't be shaking Pat Cummins' hand or anyone else's hand when I go on the next time, I think.
Not for another 7 to 14 days.
7 to 14 days, correct. Well, I don't know whether you realise, Don, when I came here yesterday morning, I got here very early, luckily, because I got the 6 a.m. flight in, and I had a COVID-19 test before I left. I'm double vaxxed, everything's fine. I got through. I thought I was going to be tested at the airport, which I was told I would. I walked straight through, and I was outside, and I thought, oh, okay, what do I do now? And I saw this snaking queue, and I felt obliged. I better go there because I may not get in here. And I did that. An hour and a half later, they tested me, and I was given a result this morning. But when I walked in here, no one asked me for that test. So I could have not done it. I could have walked here without, I said, bugger off with this testing, come straight here, and nobody would have asked me. So I wonder what that hour and a half queue to get tested was all about. No one's ever asked me for that since.
Yeah, look, when it comes to COVID, there's a lot of what appears to be inconsistencies out there. I mean, Melbourne Victory, a week or two ago, they were shoulder to shoulder. What would there have been in that small bay? A couple hundred?
Yeah.
It doesn't make much sense, but I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be the guys writing the rules right now.
No. Writing rules on COVID is a bit of a disaster with Omicron, and I don't know what else is. I'm calling Omicron and even COVID, I'm calling it flu 1 and flu 2, so we can have some sort of normality with the term, because people, you're going to get COVID, I'm afraid to say. Hopefully we don't die from it. We're probably going to get it at some stage.
Well, the interesting thing there is, in 2019, Australia had 4,000 deaths from the flu.
Exactly.
It wasn't headlines.
And we had 4,000 COVID deaths. It would be headlines, I assure you.
Absolutely.
It's quite incredible, isn't it? So, okay, now, of course, they lost to the Gabba, England. Australia won that quite convincingly. But I've been quoting myself as saying that England can still win the series 3-2. Why? Because, not forgetting last year, India were all out for 36 here. Australia won the match, then they lost Melbourne, drew Sydney, and lost Gabba. So I thought there's potential that the opposition may still have a chance. But now, looking at the scoreline, it doesn't look like Australia's going to lose here, do they? Does it?
It doesn't, and I'm half expecting 100 runs in the next session, maybe a loss of 2 or 3 wickets, and then a declaration.
Well, let's hope they do make it more competitive. I hope so. So this is called a lunch break? What is this actually called?
I think it's called a dinner break.
A dinner break.
And then
Right.
I think the next one's a tea break.
Right.
No, it's a 40-minute break, and the next one's a 20-minute break.
And so the dinners are turning into 40 minutes. So it's called dinner. I'm still calling it lunch. So how long we got before that happens?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. You've actually got is it time to tell you when it's going to be? 5 minutes. Is that the 05?
That's 5:05.
5:05. 5 back. That's funny. It's 05:05, which is 5:05. We've got 5 minutes to go before we play back at 5:10 local time, of course. Which in India, I think, at the moment, because in Sydney, because I'm from Sydney, they're 5.5 hours behind when we're over there. What are we here? Half an hour behind?
Half an hour behind the Eastern State.
Right. So effectively, it's 5:05. It's 5:35 in Sydney, which makes it 5 minutes past midday in India. Hence, my viewers are pretty much, a lot of them are there. I have a lot of Australian viewers as well, and even a lot of English as well. Robert Muller, where are you, Robert? Whereabouts are you based? I think it's 12 o'clock. I'm getting told there, but Himanshu Chowdhury is saying it's 12 o'clock. All right. Well, Don, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. So you have to now.
I need to get back so I can.
Yeah, but you can go and Google Eyes on Cricket. Just put Eyes on Cricket with Norman, you'll get me. It's a YouTube channel. Subscribe because you're on it. You're actually live now. If you go back, we can't really watch yourself. That'll be a bit hard to do, but you'll see you can replay yourself.
No worries.
All right, thanks, Don.
Thank you.
Nice,
All the best.
nice to meet you.
Rob.
All right. We're great to have Don with us. Don's going back to the game live, so it starts in 5 minutes, and I might peel off at that stage as well. So there we have it. Australia at 5 for 302. We're expecting in this so-called dinner to tea session. Previously, I would have been lunch to tea. This is a dinner to tea session. We'll have the score go to probably, I would imagine, near 400, but 5 for 302. England bowl well. They might skittle them for less than 350, and that would in turn mean a rather close game. But England have to bat well, don't they? With Burns, obviously, with Hamid, they're pretty strong. Then you've got the likes of Milan and Root, who I do fancy, and you never know with people like Stokes and Butler and the team and Ollie Pope. They've got some strength there in that batting lineup, and a whole host of bowling in the lineup as well. With Anderson and Broad, probably not the best batters, but they'll be in the side as well. So some 5 minutes before the play restarts here at 5 for 302 with, again, Steve Smith on yet another 50. He's a man who is captaining Australia. What do you guys think? Message me. Do you think that Steve Smith should be captain again? And even for that matter, Travis Head so quickly. I was hoping to see Khawaja on the side. You know that I have a love for Khawaja. I would have preferred to see Marcus Harris is really on his last doorstep there. I think he doesn't get runs in the second innings. He's had 4 innings where he's failed again. They have to consider Khawaja. They have to consider Khawaja big time. What I meant is that a player's wife beside Justin Langer, Pierce. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think wives could be near the players. No, I thought the bubble's not that strong. It's not a true bubble as such. I don't think they were able to roam, but the players were able to roam the streets and be at a normal restaurant in open public. So the bubble's no longer there. We've got different restrictions now. We are able to be amongst people. They haven't got the same. You've got to be COVID-19 negative tested, of course. You've got to do double vax. But then if you've got that, you're right. And December 15th, especially in New South Wales, you could even be unvaxxed. You could be allowed to go out, but not to some venues. And even the COVID-19 scanner was not being used. So yeah, there's been a fair bit of lax or relaxation, you would argue, to the COVID testing. Hence why these players would on literally the main street here in Adelaide, roaming freely in a restaurant. Unfortunately, there happened to be someone by the sheer fluke, because there aren't many people in Adelaide that have got it, and they happened to get it. They actually got the test and saw the results in the restaurant, which was incredibly bad timing. So that happened. Sydney's got 1,000 a day. They've got a few more cases, but we've got 95+% COVID. Vaccinations, double vax, and we're onto the triple vax, which is the booster shots as well. All right, so the game starts in about a few minutes. Let's have a look. I can't see anything on the boards at this stage. There we are again. We can see the advert there. Can you see the advert there? The advert there for the around there. We can see this. The advert there for the Olympics and a little bit of background there. So that's the beauty of Adelaide Oval behind me. And I'm going to go back in myself in a minute. Any more questions, guys, as we finish up there? About 5 minutes to go. It's a short session, short, sharp and sweet. Virat is better than Root. Well, Virat statistically is right up there, but Root's certainly done very well of late. So it's something of a situation where we don't know how good Virat is until he starts to score more runs. Green is batting form is a concern. A little bit. That was a weak shot. Ben Stokes was a bit of in-dip. But look, Broad and Anderson and Robinson have bowled very well. Woakes, middlish, and Stokes has bowled well. Even Joe Root's done a reasonable job. The bowling's been particularly good by England. I mean, Don, you heard talk and myself talk about the defensive bowling, 5-4, 6-3 fields. Quite frankly, the batting has been pretty negative as well. Head and Smith, no way carry the needs. Okay, of vice. Yeah, I don't think Steve Smith should be captain at all. I certainly don't think that Head should be in so quickly, even though I only realised that recently that Travis Head's actually previously been the Australian under-19 captain, as is another bloke that I'm pushing, Jason Sanger, who was the under-19 captain. Who'll win this match? At this point, look, you'd have to say Australia, but let's wait until after England bat. We'll see how good they go. I think it's still a little bit early to know exactly. Smith is better captain than Cummins. He may well be, but he blew it with that sandpaper go. He shouldn't be allowed to be captain again. There's distinctly an issue around that. Travis said maybe the next person. I think Kawaja. Lyon will be the highest wicket taker if it's turning seriously. Well, let's wait and see. He did come back to form with his 4 wickets in the first test. Yes, but we'll see how he goes in the second. All right, guys. I'm guessing we're about to go out. The players about to go out there. Lions, got pretty good form, I must say. Himanshu Chaudhary, well got the 4 wickets. Yeah, so we've got a fair bit. There's a lot of the staff coming here for a bit of a meal as they're their breaks. And yeah, it's quite an interesting situation indeed. So guys, keep watching. I'll come back later today, hopefully, but I'll have other videos on. I'll try and get some more guests on as well. Have a chat to people. I mean, after the game, I'll have more guests to talk to. But I am restricted to being outside the venue for obvious reasons to do this video. All right, so again, Australia 5 for 302 with Steve Smith not out 55 with Alex Carey. We lost Labuschagne for 103 this morning. Also lost Travis Head and Cameron Green. So we lost 3 wickets for what was 302. About 82 runs we lost. 3 for 82 in the first session. They were 2 for 221 on the start of the day, and they're 5 for 302. So they've added 81 actually, added 81, and they've lost 3 wickets. All right, Nalakshi Munda should also try to I don't know about that. I think that they get a leg spin hurt. Mitchell Swepson, I'm not sure. All right, guys, we might go now. I'll see you shortly. Our game's starting now back on, so go watch it, and I'll talk to you again later today. Thanks for joining. All the best, guys. Okay, all the best, guys. All right. I'll talk to you soon. I'll be on live again more often, okay? This is Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnik. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification button. Go to my Instagram at Norm Koch and my LinkedIn on Norman Kochnik as well, and my Instagram and Twitter. Okay? So, again, Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnik. Subscribe away. All the best. See you later in the day.